Welcome to Surface Pro 3 TechReviews.com. I'm Neil, helping you shop smarter for your Surface. Today, I'll be reviewing the Microsoft Wedge Touch Mouse, Surface Edition. Stay tuned, and I'll be right back. As you can see, this mouse is very small, and some of the features of this mouse are, it's got the typical left and right mouse click. And then for the scrolling, you just slide your finger. It's got a touchpad, kind of like the touchpad that comes with the keyboard that you get for your Surface. And you can either scroll by moving your finger, or you can even flick. It's got flick gestures, and which will scroll for, like if you touch the screen and scroll like that, you could do the same thing using this. You can do it vertically, and you can do it horizontally too. So four-way scroll. On the bottom, you got your regular, your on and off switch, and also you hold it to pair it with your Surface. And over here is a small little switch that you use to open up the battery, and it holds one AA battery. On the back, it says Microsoft, and this light lights up at first, letting you know it's on. And it uses Microsoft's BlueTrack technology, so it works very well on most any Surface for your Surface. And overall, it's very functional, you know, as far as using it for the touch. And I'll get in, show you examples of just how that works. After 30 seconds, this goes into like a hibernate mode. They call it backpack mode if you go to Microsoft. Basically, it just shuts down. If your computer goes into sleep mode or hibernate, your mouse kind of goes into a low power mode to conserve battery. So that's very handy instead of always hitting the on and off button. And because it's Bluetooth, it connects very easily to your Surface. It's very simple to pair. Your Surface finds it quickly and connects it. And it also doesn't tie up a USB port. Keeps that open for other things. So very nice, very good functionality. Now let me give you a little bit of video demonstration to show you a little bit more how it works. And just to give you an idea of how small this mouse is, this is the Microsoft Bluetooth Sculpt mouse. And you see how there is quite a big difference in size, and each one has its own use. I would use this more for the desktop, and I would use this more for traveling. Now, it is a little cumbersome at first because it's so small to use, and if you got medium sized hands or larger, I think it really can be a little awkward at first. And if you got, if you got really big hands, you probably won't like this at all. On the other hand, if you got small hands, this will probably be very comfortable. But there is, as so far as the scrolling, I wanted to show you, and even though this works on, this is Microsoft's BlueTrack technology, I keep it on a mouse pad just to protect it, but it works just as well if I put it on the table. But what I want to show you is when you go to scroll, now what I'm doing here is I'm just flicking, and you see how it's scrolling real smooth like that. That's kind of a neat feature that you can use with this mouse, and it's got settings that you can go and adjust to how far it scrolls when you flick the mouse. But it's a very handy feature. And the other thing that I like is that, like for example, on the Sculpt mouse, you have to go right here in order to scroll, right on the little wheel. And on this Wedge mouse, you'll notice a small line, but even though that line's there, you can actually scroll right here or even right here. So that's actually a benefit if someone's left-handed, and instead of, you know, worrying about if you can only scroll on the one side, you can not only scroll in the middle, but you could scroll on both sides. So really this whole thing is like a trackpad, but it doesn't, you know, like if on your trackpad, if you tap or double tap, it won't register as a click. You'll actually have to click the button in order to do that. So it works very well, and it stays connected really well. It doesn't lose its connection, and like I said, that's scrolling, and you know, you could scroll a little bit. You know, you want to just scroll a little bit, you just move your finger on the pad just a little bit, or you want to move a lot, you can flick it and you see how you scroll real far like that. So that's a very good feature, very nice. Now let me show you its distance. Alright, I'm going to do the same test for this Wedge mouse that I did for the Sculpt mouse. And the distance, I set my Surface off in the next room, and it's a distance of about 22, 23, maybe even 24 feet, somewhere around there. But it's a good distance. It's from one end of my house to the other, and of course you won't be able to see the cursor, but what I'm doing is clicking on the taskbar on the button for Outlook, and you see I'm maximizing and minimizing it. So even though it's separated that far, you see that it's working with no problem at all. So the distance is very good, just like on the Sculpt mouse that I reviewed before. And if you haven't already, be sure to compare that review with this one. Overall, this is a very good mouse. A few things that I particularly don't like or that stand out to me are, number one, I would not recommend this mouse as a replacement for your desktop mouse unless your hands are really small. This is a small mouse, and it is meant for traveling, for convenience. You know, it's small, you can put it right in a shirt pocket and it fits in there very comfortably. And but if you have even average size hands, I think to use this all the time, for me, I wouldn't. I'll put it that way. Let you decide. But it is really good for traveling, that's for sure. And my second is, on this trackpad, or the touchpad I should say, the left and right buttons are not separated. You know, it's one whole piece. And with that, if you go to left click on something and you're a little bit toward the middle, it can be mistaken for a right click. So you kind of got to make sure you're on a little bit over, a little bit more. Doesn't happen a lot, but it can happen, and it's just something to be aware of. And that's what I'm doing these reviews for, to make you aware of those things. And the third is the price. Now I've seen a lot of prices for this. There's kind of a big range, I guess you could say. When I originally went into Staples, they had it on display for, I think it was $69, almost $70, which was a lot of money for a mouse. But I had I went in there and showed them an ad from Best Buy, and they matched that price. And I forget if it was $39 or $49 that they brought it down to. And so if you can get a good deal on it, you know, I certainly would not recommend this mouse for $70. It'd be way too much. But if you could get it for 40 or even 50, I believe it's a good mouse, especially if you travel a lot. You know, you use your Surface on the go. It's definitely useful. So this is a very well constructed mouse, well designed, and it works great. Overall, I give it 4 out of 5 stars, and I highly recommend it. Well, I'm Neil from SurfacePro3TechReviews.com. I hope this review has been helpful, and I'm here to help you shop smarter for your Surface. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments below, and I'll do my best to answer every one. Thanks for watching, and if you like reviews like this, subscribe to my YouTube channel, and be sure to check out my website, SurfacePro3TechReviews.com. Thanks again for watching.